One of the things I think that I was really interested in hearing your perspective on was kind of the differences between the AI development in, Europe versus the two other kind of main actors, China and the US. I myself is from Canada, and I'm always bombarded by, either messages from friends or just media in general about the kind of state of AI in the US. But obviously, you're a European professional, so maybe we could talk a little bit about how European AI development is maybe a little bit different from United States and China.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, of course, there is excellent researchers in all of those areas, typically at universities. But I think it's fair to say that AI in the US and in China is much more driven by the big corporations, whether that's Google, Amazon, and Baidu, and you name them. They hire some of the best people. They have large research groups. Yeah, so that is the structure there. We don't really have those big companies in Europe, so it's much more driven by public funding for AI research. And in the past, the AI community in Europe has been highly fragmented. Right? There was excellent labs all over the place, but there wasn't any or very little interaction between them, and so there wasn't really a European AI identity or even a common theme. And that has actually changed. And one of the reasons, and I've been part of that, is actually we founded the CLAIRE community, the CLAIRE initiative, which is a grassroots initiative to bring together the European AI labs. And CLAIRE now has 400 labs all over Europe as members, and we were funded through big projects at the from the European Union, and we're trying to influence and also to some degree coordinate and bring together and extract what are the key European topics, right? I think every one of those areas of AI has to have, we have to identify what is the European way of AI. And I think that will be very much driven by values. So this idea of trustworthy AI has been formulated as a main goal by the European Commission. We're driving forward a big initiative towards what we call trusted AI, providing guarantees for AI systems. So there's a lot of stuff coming together. It could always go faster, I think.
Sure.
But I'm very happy with things, how things are developing. There is a big problem in holding talent here in Europe. Google is paying pretty good salaries, and others too. I mean, that's the interesting thing. If you look at papers and some of the big systems that have been developed in the US, less so in China, there's actually lots of European AI-trained people, European-trained AI researchers and engineers who actually are working on those systems. So to some degree, there's a lot of European AI also in the American AI systems in there. But of course, that is diminishing what we can do here in Europe. So there we want to really encourage people to stay here in Europe. And they're in particular, one of the big ideas from CLAIRE, when we founded CLAIRE, that's actually 3 years ago, is actually this idea of beyond just the network of all of these AI labs and having some centers of excellence across Europe that's being created. Those are being created now. We have this idea of creating what we call a CERN for AI. You know CERN as the Center for Particle Physics. So this is where like every physicist working in that area wants to be. This is where things are happening. This is where the big conferences are, and where everyone wants to be. Establishing something like that here in Europe for attracting talent, attracting industry, bringing things together and creating a lighthouse and also a trademark for European AI. This is something we're pushing forward strongly, also with the politicians at the national and the European level.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the ideas of pushing things forward here. And again, it could go faster. I think there's a lot more that can be done and can be done faster, but it's absolutely moving in the right direction. There's a lot of spirit and driving things forward here in Europe.